China and its red authoritarian regime is leaving no stone unturned to turn its populace into a zombie population that only moves and does everything according to its will, without asking any question. Disturbing news reports have come which state that China is collecting blood samples from men and boys across the country to build a genetic map of its roughly 700 million males. The move will give the Chinese authorities a powerful new tool for their surveillance activities. If the world was troubled by a few Chinese espionage apps like Huawei, then think of the plight of the Chinese citizen who are being subjected to such surveillance. Citizens living in authoritarian regimes have virtually no rights and no safeguards to protect them from the atrocity of the tyrannical regimes that rule over them. China under Xi Jinping steamrolls the human rights, pretty much like another dictatorial madman Kim Jong-un of North Korea. This surveillance tactic of China strengthens the belief that citizens of China are possibly the weakest citizens of the planet, maybe after North Korea. Take the example of coronavirus pandemic. The deadly respiratory virus has wreaked havoc all around the world, and it started from the wet markets of Wuhan. China was the first casualty, as over 80,000 got infected in no time. However, these figures are highly suspicious, as communist regimes are known to hide numbers to maintain its facade of strong governance. Whistleblower like Dr. Ai Fen, who was one of the first Chinese doctors to bring to light the danger of the virus, was quickly silenced by Beijing and has not been seen in public since March. Dr. Li Wenliang, another Chinese whistleblower doctor who sought to alarm the world about the impending pandemic, was silenced by the Chinese Communist Party (CCP) and unfortunately, later succumbed to the virus in February. Even families were not allowed to mourn their dead in the public in an elaborate attempt by the communist regime to keep the number of deaths under the blanket. The number of mobile phone devices that went off in China during the spread of virus runs in millions, giving weight to world's community's suspicion that millions have died in mainland China due to COVID-19. Tiananmen Square massacre, the pro-democracy movement that started in China 31 years earlier, was quashed ruthlessly and with military might by the Chinese regime. According to some estimates, over 10,000 protesters lost their lives in the bloody massacre orchestrated by the Chinese dictators. To date, an average Chinese does not know about the monstrosities of the Tiananmen Square massacre. The propaganda machinery of the Chinese Communist Party (CCP) has skillfully obliterated every possible evidence related to the massacre. In China, June 4th has been nicknamed Internet Maintenance Day for the number of websites that go offline around the anniversary, their owners deciding that being dark is safer than accidentally publishing something which could provoke the ire of the authorities. This speaks about the culture of fear instilled in the ordinary Chinese citizen. Any whisper or proof about the June 3rd or 4 event is culled down to a T in mainland China and around. Even if the Chinese know a little about it, they have been misled to believe it was a terror attack on their nation. Those Kashmiris tempted to look towards China as some sort of savior need only Google the plight of Uyghur Muslims. Be careful what you wish for. Omar Abdullah had tweeted this yesterday, and no sooner did he tweet this, he was forced to temporarily deactivate his account, presumably by the radical Islamist lobby which sucks up to Pakistan and China. The point we are trying to drive home is that when even a highly polar figure like Omar Abdullah calls out China for its inhuman treatment of Uyghur Muslims, which have been sent in thousands to the atrocious concentration camps, then there is something seriously wrong with China. The Uyghur Muslims are its citizens too, but they are treated abhorrently as China considers Islam as a mental disease. The cowardly People Liberations Army (PLA) and its attack on the Indian Army in the Galwan Valley in the eastern part of Ladakh further brings to light that Chinese citizens are merely a meek spectator who forget speaking, do not have the right to know about its fallen soldiers. Various reports have suggested that over 35 Chinese soldiers had died in the encounter on Monday night in the valley. But unlike India, where the army and the government instinctively released the names of the fallen heroes because they deserve the respect of the countrymen, China is yet to do the same. China has not released any official count nor the names of the soldiers. Much like Pakistan, which refuses to collect the bodies of its soldiers or acknowledge their existence, China is looking to sweep it all under the rug. Instead of giving its soldiers respect, it is hiding their names from its own citizens to save its face and keep intact its fragile ego that has been busted by the battle-hardened soldiers of the Indian Army. Chinese citizens perhaps don't realize that the People's Liberation Army is not their army. It is the army of the Communist Party of China, and its primary motive is to defend the interests of the party. So when it comes to protecting the party interests, the PLA could go to any length, not hesitating to even kill the Chinese citizens. The Chinese citizens amidst all these episodes remain completely oblivious to the truth, as they are blinded by the thick curtain of CCP propaganda. It is sad to think that the citizens of China have nearly no right to question their government. Those who do, have the same fate as Dr. Ai Fen.